Appreciate Sue McGlon's presentation. My father-in-law, who is here, was an 18-year-old submariner on a submarine. He's told stories, and he actually received the Purple Heart because he was battle injuries and carried shrapnel in his left shoulder. And I could never really understand exactly what happened, and so in order to figure out what happened, I said, I'm going to have to build a submarine. And so the model you see back there is a submarine, and you see some three little figures. Figures came from Czechoslovakia, and I'm not a model builder, but I'm proud of that. It's the first model I've ever built, and I don't know if I'll do it again. But that's one way to write history, is to, if you don't have the original 300-foot long submarine, you put together a 4-foot long model. And it makes it more interesting for the grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Well, we're very excited to have Bruce Buzbee here. I'm meeting him for the first time right here, and he's the founder and president of the Roots Magic Company, and has written a lot in terms of the software and as well as the book on the software. And so we welcome him. He's going to be giving 2 presentations, from now until 3 o'clock, and then from 3:15 to 4 o'clock, and I'm going to give a half-hour presentation from 4:15 to 4:45. And then we'll have an hour and 15 minutes for dinner break, and on the second page of your outline is a list of locations for some fast food restaurants. So we'll go ahead with Bruce.
Hi, glad to be here. I'm going to do the 2 classes. The first class, or the first presentation is, I don't have a thing, it's got a long title. It has something to do with publishing a personal history with complete documentation and that type of thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that as an opportunity to kind of show a lot of the things that you can do to take those boring dates and places. They're not really boring, some of them are interesting, but for the most part, how to take those just dates and places and how to add more information, more life to those, to put your personal history together, or family history together. Okay, when you start Roots Magic, it first comes up with a screen that looks like this. It has a welcome to Roots Magic. You can create a new file, you can open an existing file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new file.
Okay, just turn off the lights or so we can't see that in the back.
That's better. I think it's these right here that are...
You can put the spotlight back on him.
That one's okay?
I can't see the...
That's as maximizes my screen. I don't know about the projector. I think that projector's already pretty much set where it's gonna go. Is that okay? Can everybody at least pretend like you see it? Can you see like some line up there? Okay.
I can record the... I can see the sign competitor. They watch well.
We just already maximized it. Oh, this is a form. This is actually a dialog box, so that's not really anything. That's the program, and I said I wanted to create a new one, so it brought up this screen. Okay. Actually, let me try something. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to
She was using
a lower resolution, see if that makes any difference. Where are we at here? If I go to 800 by 600, we may get some stuff that doesn't even fit on the screen, but maybe stuff will be more readable. Okay, not that I and this one. Yeah, I'm a computer geek. Okay, is that that's better? Okay, so what you're going to see is this is kind of the minimum resolution that Windows likes here by 600. So since I don't normally use this resolution, you may see me having to shrink some screens down if they go off the edge of the screen. But that's because I'm using this at such a low resolution here. But it'll be bigger so you can see it. Okay, what I did is I said I want to create a new Roots Magic file, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to put my own name in there. Now, there's a number of options, and I'm going to turn on a couple of these. LDS support and new family search support, I'll turn those on. If you're not LDS or you don't have access to new family search, you can leave those off. We're going to tell that OK, and Roots Magic's going to create a new blank database for me. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, at this point, I can just start typing in information. Click to add a person, I can just click right there and start typing in information for a new person. But rather than spend a bunch of time doing that, I'm going to go up to File and come down here to Import. I'm going to choose to import data from another program. It asks what program I'm importing from, and I can import from Family Origins, Family Tree Maker, Legacy, Path, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and choose Path, and then say I know where the file is. Now, if I don't know where the file is, I have that option to search for files. I'm going to say I know where the file is, and I hope I really do. And I think it is in Documents. Yep, there it is right there. So it's Buzbee.paf. I'm going to tell it to open it, and that's all I have to do. It's now taken that path data and brought that into Roots Magic. And everything that was in that path file comes in: names, dates, places, notes, sources. Pictures, if I have the pictures on the computer, you can see there's like a little broken link up there next to my name. That's because I just grabbed this path file off of another computer, brought it over, but didn't bring the pictures over. Okay, I'm going to close this little side index. This is a handy little tool, but it kind of sometimes, especially with a low resolution like this, can kind of get in the way. But that's just a list of everybody in my database, and I can click on somebody and just jump right to them like that. But I'm going to go ahead and close that out of the way, so I'm just going to do that so that we're basically on this screen. Now quickly, there's 5 different navigation views in Roots Magic. There's the pedigree view, that's one we're looking at, 5 generations, or we can go to 6 generations if you've got super duper vision. And we've also got the family view, which is dad, mom, and the kids. And like I say, normally you can see more than one kid on the screen, but when we're at this really low resolution, we're only seeing the one child. But you can actually see up to about 20 kids on the screen right there. Your descendant view, which is an indented descendancy. Your people view, that's just that alphabetical list of everybody. And the web search view, this is a view that helps you actually find people on the internet. You can actually just click on somebody on that little side list, and it will search whatever site over here you tell it to: Ancestry, Family Search, Find a Grave, whatever. You can even add your own. And so that's just kind of a quick overview. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in to the edit screen here. And actually, I'm going to do one thing first. I'm going to show you, after having just imported that plain old data, I'm going to go into the reports and I'm going to choose a narrative report. And when I ask to do a narrative report, I have some options. I can choose to do ancestor reports, or I can choose to do specific reports. I'm going to do a report of me and my ancestors. And I can go over here and choose how many generations. I can select some options. What I want the dates to look like. Do I want them all spelled out? Do I want each generation to start on a new page? Do I want color coding? Do I want pictures and what size? All of that. So I'm going to go ahead and just generate that. I'm going to tell it OK. And I'm going to generate this narrative report. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this in so that you can kind of see it. Hold on with that. It's still kind of hard to see. When we're in the print preview, we have some thumbnails over here. Now, of course, those thumbnails, while I need to be able to move from chapter to chapter, or from page to page, they do take up some room. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that over to kind of size it a little bit, make it a little bit more readable. And it's still kind of hard to read. Now, what I could do is I could go into settings and go over here to fonts. You'll see over there on that right side, there's a bunch of options. I can go in and change the title for this narrative report. I can change the layout. That's the page size, what size margins, what size paper, what I want the header and footer to say. So I can change all of those. I can change the various fonts in the report. Sources. I'll come back to the sources. Indexes. I can choose, do I want indexes at the end of my report? And I can do name indexes, and I can do place indexes. So if I do a name index, every person in my report is going to be in the index, along with what page they're on. If I do a place index, every place that I refer to is going to be in the index, along with what pages that place is referred to. So I'm going to just go ahead and leave those as the default. But I'm going to come here to fonts, and on this narrative text, I'm going to pick a bigger font, just so it'll show up bigger here. It'll show up a little better here. Regenerate that report, and it's done a little bit bigger font. Now, what you'll notice from this is that what Roots Magic has done is it started with me, because I'm doing ancestors, so I'm the first generation, and then it goes on down, and there's the second generation, that's my father and mother, the third, that's my grandparents, the fourth, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and so on. When it gets to the end, there's my list of endnotes. Those are the sources. And these would be the sources that have already come in from PATH in this case. Okay, we're going to take that a step farther in just a little bit. There's my index of names. Now, what's nice is in the print preview here, these indexes are hot linked. So what does that mean? That means if I want to see where Thomas Kevin Carter is, I just point to the page number, and my cursor turns to a little pointing finger, and I click, and it jumps me right to him in the book. Okay, so that the indexes for the people and the indexes for the places are all hot linked like that. Okay, there's a couple of other nice little things in the narrative report, or in the reports. One is just going here, as you saw me do earlier, clicking on settings and changing settings, and then popping right back in and regenerating the report. The other is being able to print it. Of course, that's what we do, right? That's why we create reports, is so we can print them. We can also save reports. So we can click on that, and we can save them as PDF or rich text so that we can bring them into our word processor. Or what I really like is email. If you've ever tried to email a report, you know what a pain that is. Having to save it out to some file format, start your email program, try to remember where you saved that report so you can attach it. Well, with Roots Magic, you just click this, you tell it what format, and Roots Magic does all of that. It saves it, it opens up your email program, it starts an email, and it attaches that report to the email. Okay, it doesn't write the email for you. We decided to let you have a little bit of fun yourself, so you get to do that yourself. So basically what you have to type in is the email address, and the note clicks in and it sends that report off. And the rest of this is just zooming in and zooming out type of thing. And one last thing, you'll notice that after my name here, there's a couple of little numbers. Those are for my sources. In this case, they're endnotes, which means they're at the end of the report. All my sources are at the report. But if you notice, when I point my little mouse, it turns into a little pointing finger, because source links are hot links also. So if I'm looking and it says, oh, I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I click on source number 3 there, it jumps me down to that source, so that I can actually just see the actual source that went with that. Okay, so that's our very vanilla report. That's basically, we imported a PATH file, and we said, hey, create a report for us, and that's what we got.